All right, everyone. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Victorious Points podcast. Of course, the place where gaming meets sports, meets comics, movies, as well as inspiration. Of course, as I always like to say, usually in the intro. My name is King Von Jr. You can follow me on social media on Twitter at 301 King Von Jr. Of course, on Instagram at Mr. King Von Jr. And of course, the usuals as you can see on the bottom of the screen. And and of course, without further ado, I definitely want to go into this. This has been a very eventful weekend, especially on Saturday for so many different ways. Of course, like I said, I'm just going to give it, definitely going to give a huge rundown. So of course, get ready, if you will. Of course, we had a SummerSlam weekend, Renaissance weekend, and of course, lift every chair and sing. Chairgate, of course. You know what I mean? Like that's been, the chair shot heard all around the world. As we all know, the Alabama Sweet Tea Party of 2023, August 5th. It's going to be more noteworthy and definitely going to be more noteworthy than January 6th. I'm marking that down right now. You know what I mean? So like I said, that as well as I'm going to go into a little bit a brief recap of winning time. Like I said, I'm going to give a SummerSlam review, as well as who I consider to be the greatest SummerSlam legends of all time. Based off of their SummerSlam body of work, their impact like I said, on the event, and everything else in between. And of course, as of this recording, I'm also working on an article about my top 10 SummerSlam matches, especially with it being the 35th anniversary of the party of the summer, basically. You know what I mean? So of course, like I said, of course, on Saturday, like I said, was the chair shot heard around the world. Of course, like with so many black people, shout out to us and out there in Alabama, uniting, excuse me, and assembling like the Avengers. You know what I mean? And I thought it was amazing, and especially shout out to the guy that swam all the way all the way to the dock. You know what I mean? And so I was like, okay, yeah, nice. You know what I mean? This guy might as well have been what they call him was it like Jermichael Phelps or something like that. Like call him Sea Murder, Kofi Kingfish, like so many different names. Fade in the water. You know what I mean? Like the memes speak for themselves, and of course, I had to get in on the fact that I changed my Facebook cover picture to that meme where it has a painted Harriet Tubman and they added a chair. It looked like she's giving the chair out, and the funniest thing about it is that the boat that they got off of was called the Harriet. So it's like I said, that was absolutely hilarious. It was epic enough to see, and like I said, just to see that type of unity for us to come together and and just to stick up for each other. I wish that we would keep that same energy in every other area of life. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to business, when it comes to like I said, just when it comes to supporting each other and all other aspects. You know what I mean? So like I said, I hope that this will be, like I said, more of a turning point than ever before. You know what I mean? And so like I said, I always say the national anthem should be changed to like I said, pretty much to lift every voice and swing. And others would say lift every chair and sing. Pretty much Chairgate, and people giving tutorials on how to use a chair. You know what I mean? So and especially like when you look at folded chairs, you never look at them the same way again. Especially with the chair, the chair originally being invented by a black person. So like so many other different things in life, we're the ones who are the inventors and the creators, and we often don't get the credit for it. Until much later on down the line. But that's neither here nor there. But like I said, that's pretty much Chairgate, fade in the water. Whatever you want to call it. Like I said, pretty much like the memes. Like I said, like anything, the memes speak for themselves. And and the thing is, all he was doing, was just his job, right? And so, of course, like I said, shout out to the officers, we're wrestling as white people. who are the ones that stuck their nose in this business and just harassed him for no reason, made his job even more difficult. You know what I mean? So like, the thing is, I always like to say, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So and of course, once again, shout out to the white people that were in agreement, to what happened on Saturday, like in regards to those racists getting beat up. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know what, enough is enough. We've been fed up for a very, very long time, and if you don't know now, you know once again. But yeah, like I said, that's some of my thoughts about it. But like I said, pretty much the memes and stuff that I put out on oh, another one I threw out there. Of course, RP the Vandross once said the chairs to the chair, even when no one's sitting there. So, you know what I mean? Like I said, that's just my rundown. Like in terms of the memes that I've seen, I just wanted to share that, get that out the way. And also, Saturday was the same night as the Beyonce Renaissance concert. From what I heard, everything went great, especially on Saturday. Like I said, that's when it was at its absolute best. Unless you live not too far from the stadium like I do right now, and especially at night, we can hear, we can hear Metro saying like, we can hear the station manager of Metro saying this is the final, the final train to, to such and such, final train to whatever, station or wherever, this, that, and the third, and everything like that. But but at the same time, I could tell online there was a spectacular concert. I know it. I would not have, like I said, I would not have used my own dime to go there. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like I said, I know it was absolutely spectacular. Sunday, from what I've heard, not so much, especially with the rain delay and everything else like that. But like I said, of course, apparently Beyonce must have been taking a cue from WWE when they moved WrestleMania. They have 2-night WrestleMania, so it's just like, it's so nice. We're gonna do it twice over here at FedEx Field. So, so of course, shout out to the Queen Bee and Renaissance and everyone else who went there and had a great time. And so of course, of course, I want to briefly touch on the Winning Time series on HBO. Now we're in season 2. So in this episode, I hope, like, so I'm not giving a spoiler or anything like that, but more so in this episode, it covers Magic's second season in the league. And this was, like I said, this was like the lowest point of his legendary career, because this was the season where he set, where something, a season shortening knee injury, and this was also, it's a low point, but say high point as well, depending on how you see it. But like I said, this was a season where, like, now he did have a knee injury, but like I said, during the season, like in February, that's when he became a father for the first time. Like I said, at 21 going 22, and so and just to have the weight of the world on his shoulders, and for them to, like I said, for them to dramatize it the way they did, of course, when it comes to, when it comes to a show like this, you have to, at least have a slight element of comedy in certain scenes and things like that. But the episode actually starts off from a game in the 1984 NBA Finals, where, like, in this game, the Lakers beat the Celtics in Boston, and so they have to rush back to the bus because the Celtic fans, were so angry that they were so angry that they were throwing beer at the bus and just attacking the bus, just attacking the bus. They're just angry, just irate. And so the thing is, I mean, like, pretty much they were, they were scared for their lives. So, all those Magic Bird stories, ain't no fairy tale. That's the real deal. But like I said, that was like I said, that was a brief glimpse into what would be in the future. But of course, like I said, throughout this season, throughout this episode, was a backtrack to to their second season. Like, where Magic he was dealing with an injury, and also he's dealing with the transition in his life, becoming a dad, and of course at the same time that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar um, had become a father once again. So of course, like to tap into those elements, those aspects of Magic's story. There were certain things about that even my dad didn't know. And so so like I say, like I said, I like how how they touch into to some of some of the some of the tougher subjects. But I know that the next episode is of course during the 1981-82 season, where you see Magic famously announces that he's requesting a trade, but you don't know how that turns out. And and so like I said, I like how they have that brief backtrack, but eventually it's going to come full circle by the time we get to the 1984 finals, where Magic and Bird have the very first showdown in the finals, right? So as far as that, like I said, and also like this episode is also tapped into some of the family turmoil between Dr. Buss and his sons, so of course I think that was more so the sign of things to come in the future. When it came to when it came to how his relationship really was with the sons, versus his relationship with Jeannie, and so we were able to see a glimpse of the type of genius that like I said, the type of Jeannie's business IQ. Even at that time, when she was like 20 at the time, but like I said, during the season, she was like 19, 19 going to 20, something like that. And so, excuse me, like I'm slow down, but the thing about it was, like, of course, like I said, those are some of the elements that that they tapped into. So this is a brief rundown, a recap of episode 2 at one time. So what I mean, so as far as that. And so of course, now I'm going to move on to the most important, the most important aspect of this episode, which is the main focus of this episode, because this was, and of course, a side note, before I go any further, of course, so briefly talking about sports, other than the NBA and the NFL, like I said, congratulations to the 2023 Pro Football Hall of Fame class, featuring DeMarcus Ware, Darrelle Revis, Zach Thomas, among many others. And, of course, congratulations to this upcoming Basketball Hall of Fame class, headlined by Dirk Nowitzki and Dwayne Wade as well. So, like I said, I just want to give a brief shout out to them. And, of course, without further ado, now it is time to go into, like I said, SummerSlam, the party of the summer, what we have all been waiting for. So, of course, SummerSlam took, of course, when it comes to SummerSlam, we'll give a special shout out to the TWG fan club, those Wrestling World fan club, with Queen PR, Brian H. Waters, Ciendal, aka Cat Suitors, like I call it, who's been a guest on this show as well. So as far as that, of course, I want to give a shout out to Jobber as far as Janelle and Sir Wilkins, among many others who flew out to Detroit. And so like I said, SummerSlam 2023, of course, it's the 36th annual, 36th annual SummerSlam, but even though it started 35 years ago, but you get it, the whole thing. Of course, this year SummerSlam took place at Ford Field in Detroit. So this was WWE's first pay-per-view / PLE, as they call it now, in Detroit since WrestleMania 23 back in 2007. And so of course the attendance, like I said, so of course the attendance, for SummerSlam was 59,194, and so of course on the so of course on, like I said, on the card that night, Logan Paul defeat Ricochet, and so I noticed Samantha Irvin was furious like when it was time when it was time to announce, like I said, when it was time to announce Logan Paul's name, especially with the way the with the logo was straight up, disrespecting Ricochet in front of her, and everything like that. So it's just like the fact that Logan Paul had won at Ricochet's expense, so it was pretty painful to watch. But at the same time, Logan got his fair share of losses. So I guess this was the time for him to get a W, even though it was under these circumstances. So of course, the first match, Logan, in the first match, Logan Paul is the winner, and so in the second match, we have Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar, and of course, this was the tiebreaker in their trilogy. And like I said, it was a phenomenal match. It was absolutely exceptional in my estimation. In my estimation, I would say the best match of the night. The winner, of course, the American Nightmare himself, Cody Rhodes. And the thing is, like, of course, let's say during the match, Brock, at least near the end of the match, Brock had, let's just say, wardrobe malfunction, if you will. You know what I mean? But like I said, I like the story that was told, and just how this gives, like I said, it gives Cody more credibility when it comes to being a world title contender, the WWE title contender. You know what I mean? So that's the story that he's looking to finish when it comes to ultimately capturing the WWE Championship. And so this is a major step in that direction to give him even more credibility, especially after his loss to Roman at WrestleMania. So this immediate feud with Brock after Mania was the litmus test for him, and so subsequently we've seen Cody has passed that test. And not only that, not only that, but especially with that documentary on Peacock, which I actually saw on Sunday. Like I said, it was amazing. It was actually better than I thought it would be. So, of course, I know that the friends of the program, the Jobbeteers, are huge Cody fans. Of course, especially Janelle, more than anybody that I know. So of course, like I said, shout out to them, for recommending the documentary. So I saw it for myself. And so like I said, of course, that played into Cody's momentum, within the storyline and with this match and everything else like that. So there's no way that you come out with a documentary like this and end up taking the L in the third and final match of this trilogy. So, like I said, of course, congratulations to the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, picking up a huge win over not only a SummerSlam legend, but WWE legend of Raw, Brock Lesnar. And of course, Brock congratulating Cody was actually not in the script. That was improvised. That was Brock himself personally. That was his decision to do so. And so of course, this is his put over era, his torch passing era. You know what I mean? So as far as that, once again, congratulations to Cody. And so then, of course, after that, we get to the 25-man Slim Jim. Oh yeah, SummerSlam Battle Royal, and the winner is none other than L.A. Knight. Yeah, of course, the last guy to be eliminated was Sheamus, to win the Slim Jim SummerSlam Battle Royal, and of course, congratulations to both L.A. Knight and Bianca Belair for securing those, for securing those Slim Jim, like I said, Slim Jim sponsorships, because during SummerSlam, they were both on the Slim Jim commercial together. So, like, so of course, congratulations to both of them, and congratulations to LA Knight. And of course, this is the time more than ever to pull the trigger on a guy like that. And of course, this is time, like I said, of course, to boot. Like I said, this is the time to boost his momentum, boost his credibility more than ever before. And so of course, after that, we get, of course, right after that, we have Shayna Baszler versus Ronda Rousey in an MMA rules match. Of course, it's supposed to be similar to the Lions Den match. Similar to the Lions Den match from SummerSlam 1998. It was between Ken Shamrock and Owen Hart. But of course in this match, they didn't have like they didn't have like a separate octagon or anything like that. So everything was everything was in the confines of the ring. It didn't really feel too much like a UFC feel type of match. But, of course, Shayna, of course, the right woman had won. Congratulations to Shayna Baszler for defeating Ronda Rousey. And of course, there's reports saying that this could be the end of Ronda Rousey's WWE tenure, as we know for right now. So of course, like I said, congratulations to Shayna for that. And the next match is of course Gunther versus Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship. Sorry, new. In my estimation, I figured that figured that Gunther will end up winning and extending his reign as Intercontinental Champion. So he's moving even closer to the Honky Tonk Man's record. And of course, more than ever, he's going to be moving past Pedro Morales. So Honky Tonk's days at the top are numbered. So I'm glad to see it, and it's great to see these like I said, these historic title reigns. These title reigns, they with the champions holding the belt longer, just for historical purposes. And so if there was anybody that would break Honky Tonk's record, there's nobody better on this roster than Gunther himself. That's of course, congratulations to the Reign General for not only defeating Drew McIntyre in a triple threat match at WrestleMania, but defeating him one-on-one at SummerSlam to further solidify his place. When it comes to the sort of like when it comes to the hierarchy of the main roster. And of course, it's his dominance as Intercontinental Champion. As I like to say, Gunther is definitely a throwback, and every now and then it's nice to see a throwback. So of course, like I said, congratulations to him. And then we have Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor for the World Heavyweight Championship. And of course, this was 70 years in the making. Finn Balor, of course, looking to get his revenge. Fortunately, Seth had other plans, and just as of course, we see Damian Priest try to cash in, and Seth's like, not on my watch, not tonight, not on my watch. So he made sure to make sure to reject that the cash in. So the cash ins fail, and of course, Seth Rollins picks up yet another W on of course picks up another W on Finn Balor, and Seth is a master troll. Like his mind games are unparalleled. Because of the fact that Seth came out with the same black and green, like biohazard vest that he had back in 2016 when he had the match with Finn Balor. So for Seth to still have that and wear that in his entrance, I mean, like I said, when it comes to mind games, in today's wrestling, you can't find anybody better than Seth freaking Rollins. So congratulations to him. Of course, congratulations to Rollins on continuing his title reign. And so if there's anybody other than Roman and Gunther that's due for lengthier title reign, it definitely be Seth Rollins. So so if they're not going to pull the trigger for Judgment Day, if they're not going to pull the trigger for Damian Priest, sorry about that. Like saying if they're not going to pull the trigger, for Priest to be the champion yet, then I think that Seth would be the perfect guy, to hold that belt even longer. So of course, now of course right after that we have we have the women's triple threat match as Asuka defends the WWE Women's Championship against Bianca Belair and Charlotte Flair. So as far as this match, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and of course, of course, and things also like Bianca's new look, and especially with the way that she came out drinking that C4, and so you already know that the match was going to be explosive. So that was like a sign of things to come. And so, and of course, especially when it came to action specifically between Bianca and Charlotte, like how that's. I like the way that that's a sign of things to come. So for them to have that kind of interaction, like I said, in a high profile match, even though it was a triple threat match, but still for them to collide like that. And Charlotte is the final boss for Bianca to defeat when it comes to the Horsewoman. You know what I mean? So I like how the feud has kicked off at this point. And I certainly think that it's very worthy of a WrestleMania match. Even if they just have it, going to the Royal Rumble, whatever. But especially for me, I feel like if you want to really sell tickets, in my estimation, I would say have that match, go for WrestleMania 4. But that's just me, what I know. Right? But overall, like when it comes to the match, it was definitely it was certainly one of the better women's triple threat matches that I've seen in a while. And also of course, that shout out to Bianca for the way that she sold that injury. I mean, like so many people like myself thought that she was legit hurt, and I think of course, for her to come back and win the way that she did was remarkable. So now she's officially a three-time. She's officially a three-time women's champion. I've seen you keep an eye on the camera, but let's say Bianca's officially a three-time women's champion, and she now has the distinct. I don't know if you want to say honor on one end, but the thing is, now she's officially become the longest reigning and shortest reigning women's champion of the modern era. I think in just WWE history at this point. She's the longest reigning Raw women's champion, and she's the shortest reigning WWE women's champion. Because EO, of course, cashes in, and so of course, obviously with the way that EO teased the cash in with Asuka, and so of course we see EO's cash in, and as she's coming out, Bayley and Dakota are both coming out with her, and of course, congratulations to EO, becoming the new WWE Women's Champion. Unfortunately, it was at Bianca's expense, but if I were EO, I'll make sure that I watch my back at all times, because Bayley, is an opportunist. Shout out to Edge, of course, but she's waiting for the backstab. She is waiting for the opportune time to put not only a knife, but to drive that sword in EO's back and steal that the women's championship. Because the thing is, damage control, is on the brink of deteriorating, and so like I say, so that'll be the perfect way to perfect way for that to happen. That'll be the exclamation point. For that to eventually happen, to see that type of dissension within the group, much like how Randy Orton won the World Heavyweight Championship, and Triple H, as we all know, Triple H, we all know, gave the thumbs down. Gave the thumbs down. I want to make sure that my thumb was able to see. But like I said, Triple H, we all know, thumbs up, and then give the thumbs down. And of course, as we all know, of course, Triple H snatched the belt back from Orton, and so of course Orton was out on his own after that, and so as far as that, eventually it's going to come a point where Bayley is going to have her thumbs down moment, just like Triple H did, and when of course when it's time to pull the trigger, get ready, basically. You know what I mean? So as far as that, let's see, winner Bianca, and eventually EO is the winner once and for all. And then last but not least, the Tribal Combat match, the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, featuring none other the king of the Roman Empire, the ruler of the Roman Empire, tribal chief, Roman Sephiroth Reigns, Roman Rashad Reigns, what you want to call him, Injustice Superman, pretty much. Chain on for this one. Like some Roman Reigns at the head of the table, versus main event Jey Uso. And so, and the thing about it was that Jey Uso has been, essentially has been up in the wild card of Roman's championship run, right? And so the thing about it is, I figured that that Jey wasn't going to take the title. Like he ultimately was not going to take the title, but at least at least be ace in the hole and give Roman enough for his money. And also like the fact, in the sense that let's say Jey does win, but after that it's just like, now what? You know what I mean? So it's just like we've reached the mountain, but what's next after that? Match was pretty solid. Would I put it up there with their Hell in a Cell match? Not necessarily. And the funny thing is, in fact, shots with Josh Gresham, and it's certainly kind of pointed out how when whenever Jey wears white. He kind of set it his own way, but the thing about it is that it's like whenever Jey wears white, he's gonna end up losing. Like whenever the Usos wear white, like I said, at a pay-per-view, they're gonna end up losing. Case in point, WrestleMania when they lost the tag titles, right? And so so of course, like I said, the thing about it was that I guess with Jey wearing white, to demonstrate that he was, that he's on the side of light. He's the hero, and Roman, of course, is the quintessential classic villain. So I said like this, match pretty, like I said, the match pretty solid, but also at the same time I noticed that the runtime was longer, that they were going all the way to midnight. I was like, man, like SummerSlam really went to the end game. The fact that I was like, wait a minute, I know that my eyes are not deceiving me. Is this thing really going into midnight? And sure enough, it did. And of course, the ultimate twist was Jimmy returning from injury and turning his back on Jey, costing the match. So now we have reached the element of the story where it's now become now we've reached what I call the Kane versus Abel chapter, where where Jimmy is Kane and Jey is Abel. As we all know, the story of Cain and Abel. As we all know, the story of Cain and Abel, where Cain, like saying now turns on his brother, ultimately killed his brother. At the end of the day. So as far as that, I wouldn't see Jimmy going back to Roman, but this is more so a personal thing. It's more so of Jimmy being jealous of of the attention that Jey's getting, Jimmy being jealous of Jey's popularity, Jimmy being jealous of Jey being in the spotlight and being called main event Jey, and having those type of opportunities like WWE title shots against Roman, things like that, and the fact that Jey was the one who ultimately scored the pinfall at Money in the Bank, so things like that. So as far as the thing is, Jimmy, his whole thing is that he doesn't want to be the player too in the situation, So I guess for him, he doesn't want to be the Luigi to Jey's Mario. Not saying there's anything wrong with Luigi, but at the same time, we all know who who the main character is, who's the prominent, who's more popular, if you will. We already know basically, and so so when it comes to Jimmy, like I said, it was more a stake than deciding whether to go back to Roman. Like I said, now it's just between them, and so like I said, it's pretty much Jimmy versus Jay, and it's only a matter of time before it is Roman versus Solo. You know, and so it's in fact, I know that during the match, Roman gave Solo an order, and Solo uh, hesitated. You know, and so Solo saying that he obeys the orders of the elders. As we all know, the elders were the ones who sent Solo. You know, and so as far as that, like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing how that element plays out. And of course, there were no elders at ringside. This was not a tribal combat lumberjack match. So no Anawanis at ringside, no Fatus, whatever. No Rock, should I say no Dwayne at ringside? None of those things. Like I say, he was nowhere to be found, nowhere in sight whatsoever. You know, and like I said, I would say that the storyline element is what carried the match the most. Um, I would say, like I said, I would say that this match was pretty solid. Do I think that there could have been more? Sure. But also at the same time, the match once again, like so many within this storyline, certainly served its purpose. You know, and so when it comes to SummerSlam, and of course, my biggest gripe was the fact that just like pretty much I'll say like regardless of what the story is, the fact that we never got Trish versus Becky. You know, so that's already been put off, for Raw and Toronto or something like that. But at the same time, it's just like how do you move off to the most transcendent women in WWE history or wrestling history in general. Um, but overall, I would probably give it 4 out of 5 Roman WWE title reigns. Not the Universal, but more so the I guess you could pretty much like the Roman uh, current WWE title reign, if you will. So so as far as that, I give it 4 out of 5. And when it comes to the greatest SummerSlam legends, um, to me, Roman is like I said, Roman's definitely making his mark in that conversation, if not there already. You know, so when I'll say, I'll say like I'll say that coming up with a list like this um, is uh, can be pretty tough, right? And so because the thing about it, you think about names like Bret Hart, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Brock Lesnar, Roman these days, Randy Orton. What I mean? Like when you talk about the greatest of the greatest SummerSlam legends. So as far as that's concerned, that's pretty much that's pretty much um, what I'm looking at right now. And so for me, yes. So for me, like I said, like I said, for me, my greatest SummerSlam legends would be Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Roman Reigns, uh, Randy Orton, Triple H, Brock Lesnar, and Bret Hart. And of course, this, like I said, all right. So yeah, like I said, of course, thanks for those that are watching. And of course, whether in real time or eventually in a or eventually in a replay. So, so my number one SummerSlam legend is Bret Hart. Number two, I would say is Brock Lesnar. Number three for me would be Randy Orton. Number 4 would have to be The Undertaker. Number 5 is Roman. Number 6, Shawn Michaels. Number 7, Triple H. Number 8 is Edge. You know, and so those are some of the names that like you pretty much like sort of like off the top of the dome right now. And so as far as that, let's have comments right now. Hey, what's up, Knox? Number 6, Boo. Okay, all right. So you know what? As I think about it, I'm actually gonna swap HBK and Taker. So as far as that, and then, of course, I want to go ahead and say, of course, happy belated birthday to Mike Knox, host of Perfect Flex Talk Radio. So, of course, I'm giving you your birthday shout out right now. So like I said, a lot of this stuff is pretty much sort of like pretty much off the dome, like freestyle. And so, as I think about it, I'll say Shawn, his SummerSlam work actually probably stands out more. Oh man! All right, yes, still in the hospital. Yes, so of course, like definitely keeping keeping my prayers right now. So I appreciate so of course, like I said, definitely gonna keep you up in prayer about that. But yeah, like I said, just when it comes to that, like I said, it's just so much to think about. You know what I mean? So as far as that, like I said, you got your Bret Hart, your Brock Lesnar's, Randy Orton, Randy Orton, like I said, Roman, Shawn Michaels, and Taker. Pretty much like when it comes to greatest SummerSlam legends, along like I said, of course, along with Edge as well. You know what I mean? So like, and Edge, especially because of what he's done when it comes to TLC matches. And, the fact that TLC 1 took place at SummerSlam. You know what I mean? And of course, not only that, but also like I say, his matches like I said, his matches like for the Intercontinental title. And also later on, his match with Cena at SummerSlam 2006. The Hell in a Cell match with Undertaker in 2008. So he's definitely has a track record when it comes to SummerSlam resume as well. So of course, so like I said, so like I said, overall, those are like I said, some of my greatest, like I said, pretty much like my greatest SummerSlam legends. Like I said, pretty much like right off the top of the head, and like I said, like some overall grade for SummerSlam. I would give it 4 out of 5 current Roman Reigns WWE championship belts. So like I said, when it comes to who is ultimately Mr. SummerSlam historically, that title still to me belongs to Bret Hart. To me, Bret Hart is still the quintessential Mr. SummerSlam, with Brock Lesnar not being that far behind. And so of course I was wrestling with with the title of this episode. Like I said, whether it was going to be Lift Every Chair and Sing, but sorry about that. But the thing is, I don't want to deviate from the main topic that went to wrestle with, no pun intended, and that was SummerSlam, and that was like pretty much like the event that I was looking forward to the most. And so of course, the name of this episode is going to be called "Will the Real Mr. SummerSlam Please Stand Up?" And as a nod to Eminem's "Real Slim Shady," because the fact that it was in Detroit, so only makes perfect sense. So those, like I said, those are my review on SummerSlam, and those are my thoughts on who I consider to be the greatest SummerSlam legends of all time. And of course, once again, look out for my SummerSlam article, the top 10 greatest, the top 10 greatest SummerSlam matches of all time. And once again, of course, once again, over the weekend. Of course, I got a chance to sport this amazing Roman Empire shirt, and certainly got a lot of compliments over it. Um, and I know that there have been a number of people that have been asking questions, very curious about it. And so this is the link to get their shirt from victoriousones.bigcartel.com. You know, and thank you very much for those that were interested. Of course, like I said, for those that are still interested, I've been sharing it. I'm all across social media from Twitter to Instagram as well. You know what I mean? Like I said, Saturday was a perfect time. It's perfect time to rock this, and so I'm thankful for the reception. The reception that this shirt has gotten, and so of course, I want once again thank you very much for tuning in to yet another episode of the Victorious Ones podcast with the real Mr. Summerslam. Please stand up. Thank you, once again, thank you very much for tuning in to another edition of the Victorious Ones podcast. And may you have an incredible, excellent, amazing,